your existence, you will have to look in the mirror every day, regret your decisions, and think about how foolish you are. I hope all your nights are filled with regret and loneliness.
This is Kayla Hodgson, a 23-year-old bottle girl living her best life in South Florida, loved by everybody around her and just getting started. On July 13, 2022, she was found lying in a pool of her own blood, stabbed dozens of times by a woman who had just flown in from New York to do it. All because of a man who was not even with either of them anymore. And what you are about to find out is exactly how calculated and cold-blooded this whole thing really was. Before we get to what happened inside that apartment, you need to know who these people were, because the story only makes sense when you understand what was going on long before Sakina Thompson ever booked that flight. Kayla Hodgson was born on December 28, 1998, and she was the kind of person who made every room feel different just by walking into it. She worked as a bottle girl and waitress at South Florida clubs and events, especially at a weekly Jamaican party night, and she had built herself a real reputation in that scene. People loved her. Not in the casual way people say they love someone, but in the way where, years later, everybody who knew her still cannot talk about her without getting emotional. Her family described her as bright, loyal, humble, and full of energy. She was the one who would hype up the quietest person in the room and make them feel seen. She was the one who gave you her shirt if you needed it. She named her little Morky dog Dior after the fashion designer Christian Dior because she had taste like that. She used to watch reruns of The Office with her godmother and crack up every single time.
So when I got cheated on, the girl knew about me. She knew about my family. She knew about my child. She knew about everything. Like, she even seen pictures of me. Like, the girl not only knew about me and knew we was together. There was never a thought in my head, though, that I wanted this girl to ever be unalived. So to see the comments that y'all are making about this Sakina Thompson case and how, oh, well, the girl Kayla shouldn't have been messing with her man, things happen. Yes, things do happen. When we're doing things outside of God, we do have to deal with the consequences. That is very much true. But no one deserves to be unalived for messing with someone else's man or someone else's woman, period, point blank. I do not condone cheating, and I have never been a cheater in my life, and I don't like it. But I've never had a thought of having someone unalive because they was knowingly messing with my man. I just don't see that. I don't see that in my spirit. I don't see that. I don't see. It's not lining up. So it's making me look at y'all sideways. Like, what you mean? So what y'all gonna do if y'all get cheated on? Are y'all telling me that y'all are gonna unalive someone because you got cheated on? I'm really trying to understand. But see, I don't have time for that. I don't even want to know. You know what? Don't even answer the question. But y'all word. Like, y'all very, very word. Y'all word. The comments are word. And that's that on that.
She lived in a second-floor apartment at the Tamarack Village complex on Northwest 93rd Avenue in Tamarack, Broward County, Florida. She shared the place with her mother, Diana, who was a flight attendant and was regularly away for work. Neighbors and family said it was a quiet, normal building. Kayla had not even been there that long. She was just a young woman building her life. At some point through her social circle, Kayla connected with a man named Revolto Robinson, and the two of them started seeing each other. They had been messing around for about a year by the time everything went wrong. What Kayla did not fully know going in was that Revolto had a whole situation back in New York, a woman named Sakina Thompson who was not ready to let him go. Sakina Thompson was 28 years old at the time and lived in Springfield Gardens, a neighborhood in Queens, New York. She worked in the beauty business. According to her own testimony later at trial, she was also around 2 months pregnant. Whether that pregnancy had anything to do with how she felt about Revolto moving on, we cannot say for certain. But what we do know is that she had become completely fixated on the idea of who he was seeing in Florida. Thompson had been going through Revolto's phone looking for proof of the relationship. She found Kayla's Instagram page, which went by the username OnePrincessK, and she started checking it regularly. She was prank calling Kayla's number, pretending to be other people, trying to get information and stir up trouble. Kayla eventually found out what was going on and did the most reasonable thing she could do. She blocked Thompson on social media and tried to move on with her life. That block is what sent Thompson over the edge.
And that is why I do not fool with male-centered women. That woman traveled across state lines to go and take the life of another female over a dude. Hold on right quick. I want to go to Google and see how many men are left on the planet. Google says there are 3.97 billion men in the world. That was as of 2021. I don't know if the numbers have dropped yet, or maybe they rose. And according to Google, 166.1 million dudes are in the United States of America. This is to say, never ever could it and should it ever get that serious. Her name is Sakina Thompson, and she unalived her ex-boyfriend's current girlfriend, Kayla Hodgson. Miss Ma'am took a flight from New York to Tamarack, claiming that she came there to confront the woman about the dude. Obviously, common sense tells you that no, she came over there to take that woman's life. But she came to the woman's apartment at 4 a.m. in the morning, and Kayla let her in. Ladies, don't you ever let a female come into your apartment talking about she want to talk about a dude. You should never be alone with somebody who has a mutual interest in the form of a man. She came over there wearing all black and a face mask. She had every intention on taking that woman's life. I've had male-centered female friends before, and let me tell you something, when God gave me the way of escape, I got up out of it. Typically, my way of escape would be the man talking about me, because dudes like that, they don't like women who have confidence at all. So they'd immediately start complaining about me to the female. In one particular case, I had a friend that was getting ready to have an event, and she did not even invite me to the event. And I kept asking her, why? You keep telling everybody about the event in my face, but you have yet to invite me. And even standing in my face, she wouldn't invite me. Why? Because her dude was coming and he didn't like me. Our relationship didn't last a month after that. Those type of women would do anything to be with a man, especially if they have a man that they're idolizing. They'll do anything, and I do mean anything, to be with that man. They will annihilate or eliminate anybody they feel that is in the way of what they believe to be their happiness. This is why the Bible tells us to love God with all of our heart, mind, and soul, and to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. God also says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When you don't follow those principles, you fall into the trap of idolatry. Consequently, you won't love God, which means you will easily sin against him, and you won't love yourself. And because you're deficit in love, you'll believe that any man, especially a narcissistic man, has the capacity and ability to love you, to give you the love that you don't have. So you'll do anything to be with that man. I'm talking about even putting your own kids at danger. I know women that have put their children at risk simply because they had a man that they were idolized and they wanted to prove themselves to that man. That woman traveled across country and used a knife to take the life of another woman. All the same, let me warn you this. I don't know the story between this guy, but some dudes will sit there and they will allow their ex-girlfriends to know who their current girlfriends are because they want to see a fight. They want women to fight over them because they have low self-esteem and big ego. Don't you ever play tug of war over no dude. Chase after God. I'm talking about chase God with everything that you are and let him bring the right man in the right seat.
Instead of taking the hint and stepping back, Thompson stepped up her obsession. She had already been watching Kayla from a distance for months, and being blocked only made it worse. She knew where Kayla lived because she had clearly been gathering information on her. And somewhere between the stalking and the prank calls and the obsessive phone checking, she decided that no amount of jealousy or heartbreak could ever justify. In the days before July 13, 2022, Sakina Thompson bought a flight from New York down to South Florida. She checked into a nearby hotel. She opened a fake Uber account under a name that was not hers so that her real identity would not show up in any ride records, and she put together a disguise, a wide-brimmed hat, a COVID mask, and gloves. She had thought this through. Every single step of what she was doing was planned. At around 5 in the morning on July 13th, Thompson called a ride through that fake Uber account and was dropped off at the Tamarack Village apartments. A neighbor's doorbell camera picked her up on the way in, disguised and all. The building's own security cameras caught her too. She walked up to Kayla's second-floor unit and knocked. Kayla's mother, Diana, was away on a flight, so Kayla was alone. Thompson told her she just wanted to have a conversation, woman to woman, about Rivalto. And Kayla, who was not the type to look for problems, let her in. What happened inside that apartment over the next few minutes is something that the people closest to Kayla will carry with them forever. Kayla was attacked and stabbed dozens of times. The autopsy photos that prosecutors showed at trial were so graphic that reporters in the courtroom said they could not be shown on screen. The brutality of it went way beyond anything you could call a fight that got out of hand.
The Sakina situation will show you that women that idolize relationships with men deserve to be with that man. And you want to be careful. I found myself in a physical altercation last year with the side chick of my ex-husband. It got to the point where I was being disrespected, and at the time, you know, when I was just confronting a friend, the side chick decided she wanted to run up and get in my face and pop her mouth, and so it ended up getting a little physical at the time. And so it was more spiritual for me because I was on the fast and I was building my relationship with Christ. I'm not gonna lie, like that situation really did kind of put a wedge between my relationship with God, because I'm like, God, like I was mad. I was like, how did you allow this to happen? Like I prayed that something would never happen like this. But back to the story, it goes to show you that people that idolize relationships and idolize men will go to any extent to have that said person. The fact that you have to literally fight someone or hurt someone just to keep someone is diabolical, because now you ain't gonna have him and she out the picture. That sounds very stupid to me. And I feel like as a woman, you having respect for yourself is gracefully walking away. I can honestly say for a year and a half of my marriage, I did not respect myself. I did not respect myself because I was comfortably being a side chick to my husband because I was waiting on God to do whatever, and that man got his own free will. But the moment that I began to love myself a lot much more, I understood that, for one, I don't really love you like that. I'm really just attached to you. But not only that, I'm worth more. And so a lot of things and a lot of situations like this happen because women don't love themselves enough. Women don't simply love themselves enough. And when I tell you over the past year, I've had to do the work on myself and really look in the mirror and tell myself like how beautiful I am, that I don't deserve to be treated in a certain kind of way. That's why when I take this makeup off at the end of the day, I still feel like a beautiful woman. When I look at myself in the mirror, although, you know, I'm not all the way there with my shape and how I want to be and how I aspire to be, I truly love me. And if I truly love me, I promise you, no other man can make me feel beneath than where I am at this very moment. Do you get what I'm saying? So with that being said, women just really have to learn how to love themselves and even learn how to walk away from the men that they know they don't need to be with. It's crazy out here, and we must respect ourselves much more, because if you don't respect yourself and if you don't love yourself, you can't expect a man to do it either. And if you're not careful, baby, some days the man won't be with her, he won't be with you, and he gonna go get another one. And that just goes to show you how much women will go to the extent to prove their love to a man, and he don't care. I promise you he don't. And if you like my take or my opinion on this story, make sure you follow me right now. I'm so excited for what's in store for everyone, all of my new followers. Thank y'all for coming to my page. I'm actually going to be revealing a new business venture that I have, which I already have, like my business, but I kind of just took a break, and I've just been discovering certain things and getting other things in order.
After it was done, Thompson did not call 911. She did not run out in a panic. She moved through that apartment like someone running through a checklist. She took off her bloody clothes and changed into some of Kayla's own clothing. She used Lysol wipes and paper towels to clean parts of the scene. She took some of Kayla's personal items with her. Then she called another ride through her second fake Uber account, left the building, and got on a plane back to New York. She left Kayla on the floor. Later that afternoon, Kayla's boyfriend, Rivalto Robinson, came by the apartment after spending the whole morning trying to reach Kayla by phone and getting no answer. He had been there once earlier and did not see her car, so he left. When he came back the second time and saw it parked outside, he knocked hard on the door and heard Kayla's little dog moving around inside, but got no response. So he tried the handle, and the door opened. Broward County Sheriff's Office deputies responded and confirmed quickly that this was a murder. Crime scene tape went up around the building, and detectives started working. They found bags of evidence being processed outside on the sidewalk. Neighbors came home to a scene they were not prepared for, and news cameras arrived not long after. In those first few days, the Broward Sheriff's Office gave out very little information publicly. They confirmed a woman had been found dead and that it was a murder investigation. They did not say who did it or why. Kayla's family was left planning a funeral without answers, and the people who lived in that building were scared because nobody knew if the person responsible had been living among them.
My heart is broken in ways words cannot express.
Through tears, loved ones spoke out in court about their pain and anger over the killing of 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson in her Tamarack home.
But behind closed doors, investigators were already building a case. They had flight records and hotel booking information. They had cell phone data that placed Thompson in South Florida during the time of the murder. They had the surveillance footage from the neighbor's doorbell camera and the building's security system showing a disguised woman walking to Kayla's door at 5 in the morning. And then there was the detail that would prove to be the most important piece of everything. Under Kayla's fingernail, investigators found a DNA sample, and it matched Sakiyina Thompson. The judge who sentenced her would later point out, with a certain kind of irony, that it was Thompson's work in the beauty business, an industry built entirely on looks and appearance, that gave her away. On July 25, 2022, a warrant was issued for Thompson's arrest. Broward investigators coordinated with the NYPD and tracked her down to her neighborhood in Queens. On August 3, 2022, the NYPD arrested Sakiyina Thompson in Springfield Gardens, Queens. She was charged with first-degree murder and held with no bond. She was then sent back to Broward County, Florida to face trial, and she would sit in the county jail for the next 3 years waiting for that day to come. The trial happened in Broward County Circuit Court in the fall of 2025. The prosecution, led by Assistant State Attorney Antonia Johnson, laid out the whole picture for the jury. The flight down from New York, the hotel stay, the 2 fake Uber accounts, the disguise, the 5 in the morning arrival at Kayla's door, the attack, the cleanup, the change of clothes, and the quiet flight back to Queens the same day. Every single one of those steps, they argued, showed that Thompson had come to Florida with one purpose and had planned it carefully before she ever left home.
A judge sentenced 31-year-old Sakiyina Thompson to life in prison for the murder. A jury found her guilty in October. 10 of Kayla Hodgson's friends and family stood firm as they faced her killer for the last time. What showed Thompson confronted Hodgson in her apartment home in July of 2022 at 5 o'clock in the morning and then stabbed her to death. Thompson testified during trial that it was self-defense because she was pregnant at the time.
Thompson took the stand in her own defense and admitted she had killed Kayla, but said it was self-defense. Her story was that during the conversation, Kayla attacked her first by punching her, hitting her over the head, and cutting her stomach with a broken piece of glass from the hookah in the apartment. She said she grabbed the glass in fear for herself and her unborn baby, and that she blacked out completely, and when she came back to her senses, she was standing in blood with Kayla already dead on the floor. Her defense team pointed out that she had not brought any weapon from New York and that Kayla had let her in willingly, arguing the whole thing had turned into a mutual fight that went too far. The jury was not buying it. Everything Thompson did after that supposed blackout was the behavior of someone who knew exactly what they had done and was trying to make sure nobody found out. You do not calmly wipe down a crime scene and change into the victim's clothes and call a fake name Uber if you are in shock. You do not fly home and go quiet if you genuinely believed you acted in self-defense. The arrest affidavit described the attack as showing a depraved mind without regard for human life, carried out with premeditated intent to cause death. The jury deliberated for about 1 hour and came back with a verdict of guilty on the charge of first-degree premeditated murder. Sentencing was held on December 1, 2025, which happened to be what would have been Kayla's 27th birthday. 10 family members and a close friend stood before the court wearing matching Justice for Kayla shirts. Each one of them took the microphone and spoke. Thompson sat at the defense table and stared at them the whole time, reportedly with no emotion on her face at all. She had chosen not to speak. Kayla's mother, Diana, thanked every detective, every juror, and the judge for 3 years of fighting to get her daughter justice. Kayla's godmother, Monique, called Thompson a thief, and she meant that in every sense of the word.
I got 2 phones, and she the only one with dead phones right now.
Y'all, the best thing I ever did was have 2 phones, because if you know me, you know my phone is always dead. Like, it's crazy. So this is like literally the best thing, yo. I swear to God.
And then Kayla's cousin, Melanie, who had been one of the first family members to show up at that apartment complex on the day Kayla was found, stood at that microphone and looked Thompson dead in the face. Melanie went on to describe every red flag the family had put together after the fact. All the months of Instagram stalking and phone searching and prank calling, and she told Thompson directly that what she had seen on Kayla's page was a beautiful girl with a body and a personality that Thompson knew she could never match, and that the jealousy of that truth is what led her to that apartment. When every family member was done, the judge took over. He noted that he had watched the entire trial, observed the jury's reactions to each piece of evidence, and had no desire for any kind of discretion in how he handled this sentencing. Life in prison, no chance of parole, was handed down on Kayla's birthday. Kayla's little dog Dior never recovered from losing her, and died that same year. The GoFundMe her family put together for her funeral is still up, and the words they used to describe her, an amazing daughter, a loved big sister, a niece, a granddaughter, a cousin, are still sitting there for anyone who wants to know who she was before all of this became a story about what someone did to her. What this comes down to is a woman who decided that jealousy over a man who had already moved on was enough reason to fly across the country, plan every single detail, put on a disguise, walk up to a stranger's door, and take her life. Kayla blocked somebody on Instagram and tried to live her life. That is all she did. And Sakina Thompson is going to spend every day she has left on this earth in a Florida prison because of the choice she made. Rest in peace, Kayla.
Y'all, it's my bitch birthday! All right, cheers, cheers, cheers. Oh my God, okay.
What happened to Kayla was not fair at all and inhumane. Do you think Thompson should have handled her obsession well and moved on like an adult? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like it. See you in the next one.